where we won't know what he's up to, is not going to change his behaviour.
Not knowing what he is doing is not going to change how he behaves. This all happened just last night. Camilla suddenly found herself standing at the edge of losing everything. At the same time, her son, Tom Parker Bowles, was about to be called to court. Just 1 week earlier, during a family dinner where both William and Catherine were present, shocking news suddenly came out that Tom had been in a serious car accident in Scotland. Everyone sitting at the table was shocked, but Camilla's reaction was strangely calm and distant. Instead of asking many questions about her son's condition, she quickly suggested delaying an important meeting that was coming soon, a meeting about checking the royal family's money. This strange calmness made William, who is known to be careful, start to feel that something was not right. When Camilla quickly flew to Scotland, William quietly gave an order to watch her movements. What his team found only made things more confusing. A car accident, a secret trip, and strange signs that did not make sense. Was this just how a worried mother would act? Or was there a carefully planned idea behind it? Something the royal family had never faced before. It was a cold and lightly rainy night in London. Raindrops slid down the windows of a smooth black car that was moving fast toward Buckingham Palace. Inside, Queen Camilla sat very still, her face pale under the moving street lights. Just a few hours before, she had been in Scotland, but an urgent call made her get on a private jet and return in the middle of the night. There was no explanation, and no comforting phone call. When the car stopped at the palace gates, Camilla stepped out slowly, her legs feeling heavy. She understood it clearly. Everything was finished. Only a few minutes after she entered the palace, the title of Queen Consort, which she had waited for and held for many years, was taken away forever. The decision was made by Charles during a rare moment of anger. At the same time, her son, Tom Parker Bowles, received an urgent court order. The first charge sounded shocking. Serious breaking of the royal family's money rules. A scandal like never before in modern British royal history was starting to explode. It was so big that it could shake the very base of the monarchy. But to understand why this happened, we need to go back exactly 1 week earlier. That evening, the mood in the private dining room at Buckingham Palace was mostly calm. Charles sat at the head of the table, his face showing clear tiredness after many days of hard work. On his right side sat William and Catherine. This rare family dinner could have been warm if Camilla's phone had not suddenly started ringing. She frowned, looked at the screen, and lifted the phone to her ear. The voice on the other side spoke quickly, clearly giving bad news. The whole table became silent. Camilla stood up suddenly, her hand shaking a little as she placed her glass of red wine down firmly on the table. But the strange thing was that her voice did not show panic or deep pain, which you would expect from a mother who had just heard that her son was in a serious accident. She took a deep breath and spoke in a very calm voice. "Charles, I must go to Scotland right away. Tom needs me beside him. About the important meeting tomorrow to review all the royal family's money, we should delay it. I cannot miss that meeting." William, sitting across from her, watched quietly. He slightly frowned. Catherine looked at her husband, her eyes clearly showing surprise. Charles agreed, worried about his wife's son. "All right, Camilla. Tom's safety comes first. We will move the meeting to next week. I will inform the advisors." Camilla nodded, trying to keep her face steady. But everyone could see that she was in a rush. In less than an hour, her bags were packed. The royal family's private jet was told to get ready for an emergency flight. Before she left, Camilla turned back to look at Charles one last time, her voice soft but strong. "Do not worry about me. I will call you when I arrive." That night, William could not relax. He spent most of his time in his private office at Kensington Palace, watching the recording of the family dinner again and again. Each time he watched it, he saw more clearly that something was not normal in Camilla's reaction. "Catherine, I do not think this is a normal response," William said to his wife as she sat next to him reading a book. His voice was quiet, but full of worry. Camilla seemed more worried about the meeting than about her own son. She did not ask where Tom was hurt, how badly he was bleeding, or what the doctors had said. She quickly thought about delaying the money review. Catherine gently placed her hand on her husband's shoulder. "Do you think she is using the accident as an excuse? But what if Tom is really hurt?" William shook his head, his eyes firm and focused. "That is exactly what feels strange to me. If it was truly serious, she would have cried or asked to fly out right away without even mentioning the meeting. Instead, she used the accident to delay the financial check that she knew I was planning to carry out." He stood up and walked a few steps around the room. William was not someone who easily doubted family members, but this time he felt clearly that something was wrong. As the future king, he had learned to look at situations with calm and clear thinking. The coming review of the royal family's money was not just a simple process. It was meant to clearly show all spending, especially large transfers made over the years. And Camilla, who had strong control over some of these funds, definitely did not want everything to be checked too closely. William made his decision quickly and quietly. He contacted his most trusted security team, people who were loyal only to him and Catherine. "I need you to watch Camilla's movements and actions in Scotland. Report only to me and no one else. Focus on whether she visits Tom in the hospital, who she meets, and what she does while she is there." The team started working immediately, using safe communication and careful watching methods. William waited in a state of deep tension. With every hour that passed, he became more sure that his doubts were correct. 2 days later, the first report came in. William opened the file in his private office, his heart beating faster. What he read shocked him. Camilla had not gone to any hospital in Scotland. She was staying at a rich lakeside hotel many kilometers away from where the accident had happened. There was no sign that she had gone to see her son. Instead, she had held several private meetings with unknown people, lasting many hours behind closed doors. William held the arm of his chair tightly, feeling anger and disappointment rise inside him. "This is not a mother worried about her son," he said to Catherine, his voice quiet but strong. "This is a planned move. She is hiding something big, and the accident was just an excuse to gain more time." He walked to the window and looked out at the dark courtyard. What had started as a doubt was now a strong belief. Camilla did not only want to delay the meeting. She needed time to manage things that could not be brought into the open. William knew he could not just sit and do nothing. He had to make the investigation bigger, and he had to be careful, because this was no longer just a family issue. It involved the name and image of the whole royal family. "We need to look deeper," William said firmly. "If Camilla is using her own son as a cover for a money plan, I will not let it stay hidden." Catherine nodded and held her husband's hand tightly. "Go ahead, but be careful. This could turn into a serious fight." William looked at his wife, his eyes filled with strong determination. At that moment, he was not just a son or a grandson. He was the future king, and he would protect the values the royal family must stand for: honesty and fairness. The secret investigation moved into a new stage, and William knew he was getting close to a secret that could shake the whole monarchy. In truth, the accident in Scotland was not a sudden event, but a carefully planned action created by Camilla and Tom Parker Bowles in every detail. Everything began a few weeks earlier, when William officially announced a full review of the royal family's money. This check was no longer just a simple process. William asked for an independent review and full tracking of all big spending over the past 10 years, especially large transfers made through outside companies. When Camilla heard this news, she became truly afraid. She knew better than anyone that the royal family's money had been slowly taken away over many years. Large amounts were not used for official royal needs, but were cleverly moved through a group of companies that were registered under or controlled by Tom Parker Bowles. Tom, her real son, had become an important middle person, helping Camilla hide where the money came from and where it was going. Some of the money was used to support the expensive lifestyle of her own family. Some was put into personal projects, and some was even sent into offshore accounts that were very hard to track. Camilla understood that if William carried out a strict check, everything would come out. She could not let that happen. One late night, Camilla called Tom. Her voice was low but tight with worry. "Tom, listen to me very carefully. William is about to go through all the money. If that meeting happens, we will lose everything. You must help me." Tom stayed quiet for a moment on the other end of the call, then let out a long breath. "Mother, I told you a long time ago that we should stop. What do you want me to do now?" "We need time," Camilla answered quickly. "Create a reason for me to delay the meeting. A car accident in Scotland is the most believable choice. You only need to drive carefully. Turn the car over lightly on a quiet road. Report it to the police and stay in the hospital for a few days. I will fly there to take care of you. During that time, we will change the records, make the transfers look legal, and remove all signs." Tom hesitated, but his desire for money and his dependence on his mother made him agree. The mother and son quickly finished the details of the plan. Tom chose a quiet part of the highway in Scotland and carefully drove at a steady speed to cause small but believable injuries. He prepared fake injury photos, made up hospital details, and even arranged fake witnesses if needed. The accident was reported exactly as they had planned. Tom called Charles with a weak voice. Camilla reacted exactly as they had practiced. She stood up, suggested delaying the meeting, and flew to Scotland that same night. But when she arrived, Camilla did not go to the hospital. Instead, she met Tom at a rich lakeside hotel, many kilometers away from the accident location. Inside a closed meeting room, the mother and son sat for hours in front of a laptop. Camilla's voice shook, but she tried to stay calm. "Tom, we only have a few days. I have already moved money through 3 of your smaller companies. You must quickly make fake bills, change the financial reports, and move some of the money into new accounts to hide the missing parts." Tom nodded, sweat running down his face. "I am working on it. But mother, what if William really suspects something? He is not someone we can take lightly." Camilla held her son's hand tightly, her eyes showing both fear and strong will. "That is why we must move fast. I have done all this for our family's future. We cannot let William destroy everything. You are my son. You must stay with me." They worked all through the night. Documents were changed, internal messages were deleted, and some transfers were made to look legal using fake agreements. Camilla believed that with the extra time they got from delaying the meeting, they would be able to hide everything. She even started to feel a little calm, thinking the plan was going well. At the same time, William did not stop after learning that Camilla had never gone to any hospital in Scotland. His doubt had turned into a strong and certain belief. He knew that if he only looked at the surface, everything would soon be hidden again. So he decided to push the investigation deeper, focusing on the people closest to Camilla. The first person he focused on was Camilla's personal lawyer, Mr. Richard Harrington, the man who had been part of almost all her sensitive money dealings for many years. William ordered his security team to gather Harrington's full schedule for the past 2 weeks. What they found made him even more sure. The lawyer's movements were very unusual. He had travelled between London and Scotland at least 3 times in just 10 days. Even more suspicious was that Harrington suddenly asked for leave at the exact time Camilla flew to take care of her son, saying it was for health reasons. It was a very convenient excuse. "He is helping them," William told Catherine early one morning, his voice firm. "There cannot be this many coincidences. Harrington knows every detail, every hidden company. If we can control him, the whole plan will fall apart." William moved quickly and quietly. Using his power as the future king, he called Harrington without informing Charles. The meeting was held in a closed room at Kensington Palace, with only William, Catherine, and 2 of the most trusted security advisors present. There was no defense lawyer and no official recording, at least in the beginning. When Harrington walked into the room, his face was already very pale. He knew this meeting was not about something small. William did not waste any time. His voice was cold and direct. "Mr. Harrington, we already know that Camilla never went to any hospital in Scotland. She stayed at a hotel, held private meetings, and worked on documents. You helped her during this whole time, didn't you?" Harrington swallowed with difficulty, holding his document case tightly in his hands. "Your Highness, I was only doing my job as a lawyer." William placed a thick file on the table and pushed it toward him. "Here is your travel record for the past 2 weeks. 3 round trips between London and Scotland. You asked for leave on the exact same day Camilla flew out. Did you really think we would not track it?" The air in the room became heavy and hard to breathe. Harrington stayed silent for a long time, sweat slowly running down his forehead. William continued to press him, his voice quiet but strong. "I do not want to drag this out. If you cooperate now, I will think about reducing your legal responsibility. But if you keep hiding the truth, you will be called to court in public along with Tom Parker Bowles, and your legal career will end here." Harrington lowered his head, his shoulders shaking. After almost 10 minutes of tense silence, he finally gave in. His voice shook as he spoke. "Yes. Tom Parker Bowles was the one directly handling all the money transfers. I only helped by writing contracts, making fake invoices, and moving some of the money. Queen Camilla was afraid that the financial review would expose everything. The car accident was planned by them to gain time to remove the evidence." William tightened his fists, feeling both anger and a sense of progress. He looked straight into the lawyer's eyes. "Tell me everything. Every amount of money, every company, every transfer. And from now on, you must fully cooperate." Harrington nodded slowly. He had no way to escape. Over the next 2 hours, he shared a huge amount of information. A list of fake companies controlled by Tom, records of transfers through hidden accounts, and internal messages that showed Camilla had given direct orders. The lawyer even admitted that he had helped change financial reports just days before flying to Scotland. When Harrington left the room, William stood up and took a deep breath. He turned to Catherine, his voice still tense but a little lighter. "We now have the key piece. The lawyer has cooperated. Now we only need more evidence directly from Tom and Camilla." Catherine held her husband's hand, her eyes showing both worry and pride. "You did well, William, but what comes next will be even harder. They will try to erase everything as soon as they find out the lawyer has been questioned." William nodded, his eyes firm. "Exactly. That is why we must move faster than them. The investigation is not finished, but we are very close to the truth." With Harrington's statement and documents, William now had the most important parts of the case. He knew that Camilla and Tom's plan was falling apart, and he would not stop until everything was fully revealed. In a rich lakeside hotel room in Scotland, the mood between Camilla and Tom Parker Bowles was as tight as a pulled string. Tom held his phone, calling lawyer Richard Harrington again and again, but only hearing the cold, busy tone each time. His face turned pale, and sweat poured down even though the air conditioning was very strong. "The lawyer is not answering. It has been 3 hours." Tom shouted, his voice shaking with fear. "He never turns off his phone like this. Something must be wrong." Camilla sat at the desk, holding a glass of water so tightly that her fingers turned white. She tried to stay calm, but her voice started to shake. "Call again. Keep calling, Tom. He might be on a plane or someone might be watching him." Tom threw the phone onto the table and walked back and forth like a trapped animal. "Mother, what if William has taken the lawyer? He knows everything about us, every company, every transfer. We must erase everything right now." Camilla took a deep breath, forcing herself to stay steady. She knew that panic would only cause more mistakes, but time was running out. She nodded, her voice strong but filled with fear. "You are right. We have no other choice. Open the laptop, delete everything, move the remaining money to new accounts immediately, create more fake invoices, and cancel every digital contract that can be traced." They worked through the entire night. The hotel room was filled with the cold blue light of laptop screens. The sound of typing did not stop, mixed with rushed voices and heavy breathing. Tom wiped the sweat from his forehead, his voice almost breaking. "Mother, doing this so fast will leave traces. The system saves backups automatically. I cannot delete everything in time." Camilla held her son's shoulder tightly, her eyes red, but her voice still strong. "Do not stop. I have given up too much to reach this place. We cannot let William destroy everything because of one mistake. We still have a chance." But rushing became their biggest problem. In their panic, they missed many signs that could be traced. Old records of money transfers were still saved in temporary folders, and they even left behind audio recordings of private calls between Camilla and Tom from 2 days earlier. These small but dangerous mistakes started to build up. Just when they believed they had removed almost half of the evidence, Tom's phone suddenly rang. It was Harrington's number. Tom looked at his mother, his eyes wide with shock. Camilla gave a small nod, telling him to answer the call. Tom pressed the button, trying to keep his voice calm. "Richard, why was your phone off for so long? We are in serious trouble here." On the other side, Harrington spoke in a tired but clear voice, exactly as William had told him to do. "Tom, I am in London. William became suspicious of me, but I did not tell him anything." Tom panicked, his voice starting to break. "Richard, you must help us. All those funds were controlled by my mother. I was only the name on the accounts. You cannot say anything." Harrington continued to guide the conversation, carefully asking for more details. In his panic, Tom accidentally shared even more important information. The whole call was clearly recorded on Harrington's side. Camilla sank into a chair, covering her mouth with her hand. She could feel the plan she had carefully built falling apart piece by piece. The mistakes they made while trying to delete evidence had now become clear proof against them. She whispered, her voice filled with a mix of fear and anger, "I will think of something. We cannot let everything end like this." However, back in London, William had just received the recording and more data from Harrington. He understood that the trap was closing. Camilla and Tom were panicking, and that panic was pushing them deeper into the trap they had made for themselves. That same night, after 11 p.m., William walked into Charles's private study, carrying a heavy briefcase. His face looked serious, his eyes showing tiredness but also strong determination. Charles sat behind his desk, looking at his son with surprise and concern. "I have something important to tell you," William said, his voice low but firm. "This is not a small issue. I have collected all the evidence." Charles sat up straight and signaled for William to sit down. William placed the briefcase on the desk and opened it step by step. His voice was clear and steady as he spoke. Camilla and Tom have been taking money from the royal family's funds for many years. They moved tens of millions of pounds through a group of companies registered under Tom's name. The car accident in Scotland was only a cover to delay the financial review, giving them time to remove evidence and make the money transfers look legal. I have the lawyer Harrington's statement, the recorded call between him and Tom, detailed records of transfers, and evidence they failed to delete in time. Charles turned through the pages, his face changing from shock to deep anger. He stopped at the recording and listened to a short part. "I cannot believe this," Charles said, his voice shaking with anger and pain. "Camilla did this. She used her own son to hide it. She took advantage of the whole royal family." William nodded, keeping his voice calm but serious. "I have checked everything carefully. The evidence matches. If we do not act now, the honor of the royal family will be badly damaged. I suggest calling Camilla back to London tonight. We cannot give her any more time to destroy evidence." Charles stayed silent for a long moment. He looked out the window at the dark city of London. Finally, he let out a deep breath and nodded. "You are right. Camilla must come back to London tonight. Tom Parker Bowles will be officially called to court. There is no place in the royal family for actions like this." Within 2 hours, the urgent order was sent. The private jet left Scotland, bringing Camilla back in the middle of the night. When she stepped off the plane, her face was very pale, with no sign of the dignity she once had as a queen. Security officers were waiting and took her straight into the palace without any explanation. Charles stood in the large meeting room, his voice cold and firm as he faced Camilla. "You have broken my trust and the trust of the entire royal family. The evidence is clear. From now on, you are no longer queen consort. The title is removed forever. The royal family will also stop all financial support to your private family." Camilla tried to speak, her voice shaking. "Charles, please let me explain," but Charles raised his hand to stop her, his eyes full of disappointment. "There is nothing left to explain. You chose this path. Now you must face the result." At the same time, Tom Parker Bowles received an urgent court order. He panicked and tried to call his mother, but all communication had already been cut off. News media around the world quickly spread shocking headlines. The British monarchy shaken by the biggest financial scandal in many years. Queen Camilla loses her title. The next morning, the royal family released a short but clear statement. The monarchy would no longer give financial support to Camilla's private family. Those involved would face legal action. According to the rules, the title of Queen Consort was given to Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, showing a smooth and more open change of power. The scandal came to an end, but its effects spread across Britain and the world. People saw a royal family that no longer hid mistakes, but was ready to clean itself to protect its name. Camilla and Tom entered a dark time, facing legal investigation and public judgment. At the same time, William and Catherine, with their new titles, began the work of rebuilding public trust in the future of the monarchy. If you were in William's place, would you have doubted and secretly investigated like he did? Or would you have chosen to trust your family in that moment? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Also, click on the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.